It was a cold November night in Moscow, Idaho, when the small college town unknowingly stepped into the pages of a national nightmare. The quiet that usually blanketed the off-campus neighborhood near the University of Idaho was shattered by violence no one had seen coming, and wouldn't understand for weeks to come. Kaylee Goncalves, 21, was planning her post-graduation life. Bright, ambitious, and full of laughter, she had returned to town just for the weekend to see friends and attend a football game. Her best friend and roommate, Madison Mogan, was with her, always together, as everyone described them. Xana Kernadle, another roommate, and her boyfriend Ethan Chapin were also in the house that night, unaware that within hours, their lives would be stolen. Around 4 a.m., prosecutors say Bryan Kohberger, a 28-year-old criminology PhD student, entered the three-story house through a sliding glass door. The lights were off. The occupants were either asleep or in a vulnerable state. But police say Kohberger wasn't confused or hesitant. He had studied the layout. He had been to the area before, and that night he came with a knife. The first to be attacked were Madison and Kaylee, asleep in the same bed on the top floor. The struggle was reportedly brief, but it was brutal. Investigators later testified that Kaylee's wounds were particularly severe. Her face had been disfigured, a word that sent shockwaves through even the most seasoned law enforcement officials. Downstairs, Xana was awake. According to digital forensics and security footage, she had been scrolling TikTok around 4:12 a.m. She heard something, got up, moved toward the hallway. What followed was, according to investigators, a desperate fight. Xana fought for her life. She had defensive wounds. Blood was found splattered on walls and floors. Her final moments were chaotic, intense enough, detectives later said, to suggest that her attacker hadn't expected such resistance. And then silence again. Kohberger fled, but he left behind a knife sheath, stamped with a U.S. Marine Corps insignia, which would later become the key to cracking open the mystery. The town awoke to horror that morning. For students, all murdered. No suspect, no weapon, no known motive, just blood and silence. As the sun rose over the snow-covered rooftops of Moscow, Idaho, the town stood paralyzed. For promising lives extinguished. No suspect, no answers. Just a growing fear that whoever had committed the murders might still be nearby, watching. Within hours, the Moscow Police Department secured the crime scene. What they found inside the house on King Road haunted even the most experienced investigators. Blood seeped from the walls, furniture overturned, a horror beyond comprehension. Yet amid the chaos, a critical clue had been overlooked at first. A tan leather knife sheath, lying beside Madison Mogan's body. It would become the beginning of the end for the killer. For days, the small community held its breath. Candlelight vigils flickered through the streets. Students fled campus. Parents pulled their children home. Rumors swirled. Was it a crime of passion? Was it random? And why had two other roommates, sleeping just downstairs, been left completely unharmed? Behind the scenes, detectives and FBI agents worked tirelessly. Surveillance footage from nearby homes was collected. Thousands of tips flooded the hotline. But one piece of evidence stood out. The knife sheath carried a DNA profile invisible to the naked eye, but perfectly preserved for analysis. By early December, investigators had zeroed in on a suspect, Bryan Kohberger, a criminology PhD student at Washington State University, just 10 miles away. To many, he seemed unremarkable, quiet, socially awkward, but his academic interest in the criminal mind raised eyebrows, especially after Reddit users discovered he had posted a disturbing survey online months earlier, asking criminals to describe their emotions and thoughts during the commission of a crime. Authorities tracked his phone records. A chilling discovery. Kohberger's phone had pinged near the victim's home at least a dozen times in the weeks leading up to the murders. He wasn't just passing through. He was watching, studying, planning, and on the night of the crime, his phone mysteriously went dark between 2:47 a.m. and 5:30 a.m. Pattern emerged. Predator in the shadows. On December 30th, 2022, over a month after the murders, a SWAT team raided the Kohberger family home in Pennsylvania. He was arrested without incident, but questions still echoed across the nation. Why did he do it? Did he know them? And what made him snap? The answer, if it exists, may lie in the silence between Kaylee's final laugh and Xana's last breath. Authorities have confirmed that 14-year-old Dylan Guadagno, who was reported missing in Bournemouth, has been found safe and in good health. Dylan was last seen on Sunday, November 5, 2024, in the St. James Square area of Boscombe. Concern grew after he failed to return home, prompting his family to report him missing. Dorset police quickly launched an urgent search operation, deploying officers to canvass the area and appealing to the public for help. As news of his disappearance spread, the local community mobilized, sharing Dylan's photo across social media platforms and keeping an eye out in their neighborhoods. Volunteers and local residents joined the effort, demonstrating how vital public support can be in such cases. Fortunately, just hours after the initial report, police located Dylan and confirmed he was safe. Authorities did not release further details about where he was found, but emphasized that there were no indications of foul play. Police expressed their gratitude to everyone who helped by sharing the alert, offering tips, or assisting in the search. We are thankful to the public for their swift response and ongoing vigilance, a spokesperson from Dorset Police said. This case is a strong reminder of how fast action, community cooperation, and coordinated efforts can make a life-saving difference in missing person cases. If you ever spot someone matching a missing person's description, don't hesitate to call emergency services. Your attention could help bring someone home.